Here's a quick reference guide for how to fill out the residential contract of sale. Please note that this contract was significantly updated in October of 2022, so please make sure you're using the correct version. The easiest way to check to see if you have the correct version is to look on the bottom of the first page. It should say Copyright 2022 Maryland Realtors. Now, as we proceed to fill out this contract, fill out the basic information, date of offer, buyer and seller name, and the property information. First decision you have to make is in section 6, where you need to indicate whether the property is held in fee simple or subject to an annual ground rent. You'll put in the purchase price here, and paragraph 8 has to do with the earnest money deposit. So you put in the amount of the earnest money deposit. You put the means by which they are paying the earnest money deposit, and then you have to say either that the earnest money has already been delivered or will be delivered within some number of days. Make sure that this number is not greater than 7. Earnest money by law has to be deposited within 7 days from contract acceptance. Here you'll indicate where the earnest money is to be held. We always like to hold on to your earnest money as a brokerage, just so that we can confirm that it's there and we can help you to dispose of it at the end of a transaction. But this is always the buyer's choice. If they would like it to go with a separate title company, they're entitled to do that as well. And in every instance, the money will be held in a non-interest bearing account, so go ahead and check there. Paragraph 10 is your proposed date of settlement, noting that it could be sooner if agreed in writing. Paragraph 11 is where you would check off all of the addenda and disclosures that are going to be attached to your contract. I've pre-checked some of these that will be in almost all of your offers. There's an affiliated business disclosure notice indicating that we have a title company with an affiliated business arrangement. Whatever county the property is in will need its own disclosure. You'll always need to include the notice of property condition law. And then often you'll have inspections, but you'll have to go through this checklist and make sure that everything that you should include, you are in fact checking the box and attaching it to the contract. Now I have a longer version of this video where we go through each paragraph. So please make sure you watch that video, consult with your broker or any of the coaches if you have any additional questions about specific provisions, but I just wanted to quickly go through what you actually need to fill out to complete this document. So section 2 has to do with financing. You'll indicate your type of financing that the buyer is pursuing. Could be conventional, FHA, VA, or any of these, and each will have their own addendum. Note if there is no financing contingency, you can indicate that there. If it is a cash deal, oftentimes I'll see people check here for other and put cash. If you are pursuing financing, there are certain deadlines that you need to insert and make sure that you follow. So a written application for financing has to be made within some number of days, and then financing commitment has its own deadline. So you have pre-populated with shall apply within 5 days. I wouldn't really go higher than that because you really should be applying very quickly after the contract is accepted. And then this should probably be at least 3 weeks, not significantly longer than that, but always certainly a little bit before your closing date. Buyer here will have to indicate whether they're including any inspection contingencies. They would check either the addenda is attached or that it is declined. There are certain agricultural and forest conservation assessments and programs that you need to notify the buyer of. Oftentimes buyers, because they're not sure, will insert here seller, comma, if any. So these won't really apply to most properties, but out of an abundance of caution, many buyers will, hey, if this comes up, we'd like the seller to pay for it. There's a certain lead-based paint disclosure that the buyers will have to initial that they understand. That is in paragraph 35A, B, and C. They'll need to initial there. Paragraph 51 has to do with transfer and recordation taxes. If you leave this section blank, then everything will be split. Then all the charges to be charged will be split 50-50. That's the normal assumption in Maryland. The vast majority of deals are just split 50-50. But if parties agree to split them in some other way, this would be a way to insert that into the contract. If you're a first-time home buyer, make sure that you fill out paragraph B instead of paragraph A. Again, most of the time, these will just be, paragraph 51 is left completely blank, which means that the charges will just be split down the middle. And finally, page 11 or page 10 is very important. Everybody needs to make sure that they sign, and you have to insert the date of contract acceptance. This is the date that will set all of your deadlines for inspections, for financing, all that good stuff. So you really have to insert a date here, make sure that the parties agree. And legally, this will be the date on which all final initials and signatures of all parties have been affixed to the contract. And then finally, if you happen to have a first-time home buyer, make sure that you check there. And that will flag for the lender and the title company that they will get any credits that they're entitled to. Page 11 is really more for information purposes only, provided for reference only, but it is important to make sure that if the brokerage needs to get involved and reach out to any party, that this information is updated. So please include the contact information for your buyer and seller, and then make sure that the buyer agent and seller agent completes their respective portion. So here we have an agent with Keller Williams Legacy working as the buyer agent. You would put Keller Williams Legacy for the brokerage, Doug Rubin as broker with this license number, and you just insert the office address. And that is the residential contract of sale. If you have any questions, please consult any of your coaches, team leaders, or broker. I hope this is helpful. Thank you.